The next thing we need to consider going out on our own is this whole mental benchmark of day rate versus annual salary. You might hear someone say, oh, $100,000 plus 30% for onboarding. Then you divide that by maybe 190 or 200 billable days per year. That's your hourly rate, or your day rate, sorry. But that's the difference between an employee and a contractor. An employee will always think annually. That's how their whole world is, their monthly paycheck, etc., superannuation, health benefits, whatever. But when you're a contractor, you need to start thinking, well, how many billable days have I got? You'll start to see very quickly when there's a public holiday, you can't bill on that day, whereas a full-time employee would be paid. Utilization. What is your utilization against those billable days? I had one customer that said, oh, look, I'll tell you what, we'll just save a bit of money. We'd like just to get you in for, say, 2 half days a week. But then, of course, 2 half days a week removes my ability to sell 2 full days to other clients. So that becomes an opportunity cost. Downtime, and let's face it, we all have it. You have to go to the doctor. You might have to get the car serviced, etc. Now, when you're a contractor on site, that can be a little bit hard because some of the behaviours would be similar to that to an employee. You'd have to ask permission to do so. We also need to look at, from a contractor point of view, the responsibility around tax. Now, that's another topic altogether. Again, I'm speaking to you from Australia. I've worked around the world, but at the end of the day, tax is a certainty in life. You need to make sure that you provision for that. I would encourage you also to seek the advice of an accountant. You don't have to go out and form a company from day one, but tax and your ability to keep that consideration within your cash flow is really important. The other thing is expenses. When you're an employee, you want a computer, you want to maybe, or you seek to do training, typically the employer will pay for that. When you're a contractor, you need to start working on yourself, not just within the project that you're on. Now, I'm not talking about clothing, that's a personal expense, and your appearance, but you might want to invest in a computer, software. You may have your own website. You may have that laptop that you want to turn over every 2 or 3 years. This is all an expense. So what you really need to do is, it might say, oh, $1,200 sounds great per day, but factor in what it is you need to live, how many billable days you believe there is in a year, maybe deduct that by 10 to 20% for downtime, public holidays, and life when it gets busy. Then you want to factor in all the overheads that go with that. Yeah, the mobile phone expense, the laptop training, all those sorts of things and software. Then you can actually land on a day rate and then look at it and go, right, is this actually feasible out there in the marketplace? The challenge you may find when you do this exercise is, oh, gee, what I really need and what's out there by way of contracting companies or agencies, oh, gee, I'm going to fall short. Now, my opinion here, not advice, would be that's the nature of the beast. Agencies will take more of a cut. But through an agency, you can build your experience, build confidence, credibility, and then when you go out and find other clients, you can go direct, understanding how the process works and how the framework works. So again, day rates are not salary replaceable, no way. Your day rates need to reflect how you sustain yourself as an entity, come rain, hail, or shine.